Yeah, so on this corner we had a lunch counter from 1891 to 1909, 14 by 14 foot structure. So most of the stuff we find on this corner is related to that.
History and the past are not synonyms. When we disentangle the difference between history and the past, we illuminate the process by which we understand what came before us. The past, as philosopher of history Alan Munslow notes, is something that actually did happen, be it a political movement, an economic process, or an event as small as taking out the trash. But these happenings do not exist for us today apart from a few surviving bits of evidence, artifacts, documents, memories, oral histories, and the like. Munslow further explains that history, quote, is a language based manufacturing process in which the written historical interpretation is assembled or produced by historians, end quote. In other words, history is an epistemology, a knowledge of the past that can only exist for the reader, the hearer, and the consumer when someone writes, tells, or produces a historical narrative. We use history to understand the past, but through history, our access to the past is dictated by constructed categories of analysis, be it of race, class, gender, power, and contemporary ideologies. History then is as much a product of how we write as it is what we write. In other words, the process of historical explanation is one of the social construction through discursive structures rather than the unbiased presentation of empirical discoveries. Using the archaeological remains of the Mann-Simons family as a lens through which limitations of historical narratives may be investigated, Dr. Jacob Crockett and I researched and literally uncovered the past. Of African American descent, the Mann-Simons family owned and occupied the corner of Richland and Marion Street in the 19th and 20th century. This space included a main house at 1403 Richland Street, a lunchroom at 1401 Richland Street, a grocery at 1407 Richland Street, a small three-room structure at 1407 Richland Street, and a smaller house that was situated directly behind the main house at 1904 Marion Street. Archaeology is the only pure source of information we have about the day-to-day lives of the family, what they ate, bought, made, fixed, how they dressed, the scale of their business pursuits, what they served at the lunch counter, and how this material world changed over time. Archaeology and documents together afford us an opportunity to ask not only how the family's material world changed in the context of local and national societal changes, but also what these changes might have meant for the family and what these changes might tell us about the world today. The history of the Mann-Simons site has changed over the past 30 years of public interpretation. Some of these changes are the products of discovering new bits of evidence of the past, newspaper articles, archaeological artifacts and features, structural analysis of the house, and the like. These significant discoveries work collectively to highlight the past and in doing so reveal an enlightening presence in downtown Columbia, South Carolina's history. Knowing the past is about broadening the perspective of what it means to be an American, and in doing so, giving those persons who were left out of history a voice.
And we're going to be on PBS.
It's going to be on National Geographic.